Who is Jason DeFore? Most of you know him as Jelly Roll, American rapper, singer, songwriter, and country artist. Apparently went before Congress and talked about a very controversial subject.
Jelly Roll, man, you're making me hungry.
You said jellyfish earlier.
It's jellyfish, jelly roll, whatever it is. It's making it's whetting my appetite a little bit.
Apparently, this video has gone viral, and he had a very interesting thing to say. So let's see what he has to say.
Forgive me, I'm a little nervous. I'm used to having a rock and roll band behind me when I have a microphone in front of me. During the time that I've been given to share my testimony here, I think it's important to note before I start that in these 5 minutes I'll be speaking that somebody in the United States will die of a drug overdose, and it is almost a 72% chance that during those 5 minutes, it will be fentanyl related. Having started that way, Chairman Brown, Ranking Member Scott, and esteemed committee members, thank you for having me. I know this is a bit of a curveball, but I like a little baseball myself. My name is Jason DeFore, but to most I am known as Jelly Roll. It is important to establish earlier that I am a musician and that I have no political alliance. I am neither Democrat nor Republican. In fact, because of my past, my right to vote has been restricted. Thus far, I have never paid attention to a political race in my life. Ironically, I think that makes me the perfect person to speak about this because fentanyl transcends partisanship and ideology, gentlemen and women. This is a totally different problem. And I was speaking outside to the media, and I gave them a statistic that said 190 people a day overdose and die every single day in the United States of America. That is about a 737 plane. That's what about a 737 aircraft can carry. Could you imagine the national media attention it would get if they were reporting that a plane was crashing every single day and killing 190 people? But because it's 190 drug addicts, we don't feel that way.
Wow.
Because America has been known to bully and shame drug addicts instead of dealing and trying to understand what the actual root of the problem is with that. But the sad news is that narrative is changing too, because the statistics say that in all likelihood, almost every person in this room has lost a friend, family member, or colleague to the disease known as addiction.
This is the reason why I wanted to show this video.
I haven't seen this yet, so wow.
It is very apparent, specifically regarding fentanyl. I got a statistic to kind of back up what he said. So just overdose deaths alone, fentanyl is a significant contributor to opioid overdose deaths. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, in the United States, synthetic opioids, primarily fentanyl, were involved in more than 60% of opioid-related overdose deaths in recent years. So any opioid, because the big pharma opioid deaths in America is humongous. I mean, it's skyrocketing every single year, specifically with the pandemic that happened. A lot of people that struggle with addiction were isolated in their homes. They weren't able to go out. So he's going to go into his story as well as his testimony of how he overcame drug addiction. And I know for us on this channel, we haven't struggled with any hardcore drugs ourselves, but we do know people that are very close to us that have had that struggle. And so we can speak from it and kind of share our story later on. How it affects your family. So stay tuned, guys, for our story and how we can relate to what Jelly Roll is saying.
I'm just glad he's bringing awareness to this because whenever we hear anybody of political affiliation that talks about it, it's how Mexico's bringing them over. Yeah, right. That's the whole anything drug related. It's that
it's political. But people make it political.
But it's not talking about how it's destroying lives. It's just they're causing chaos.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's bringing attention to that.
Yeah.
I've attended more funerals than I care to share with y'all. This committee, I could sit here and cry for days about the caskets I've carried of people I loved dearly, deeply, in my soul, good people, not just drug addicts. Uncles, friends, cousins, normal people. Some people that just got in a car wreck and started taking a pain pill to manage it. One thing led to the other. How fast it spirals out of control, I don't think people truly understand. So many people. Equally, I think it's important for me to tell y'all that I'm not here to defend the use of illegal drugs. And I also understand the paradox of my history as a drug dealer standing in front of this committee. But equally, I think that's what makes me perfect to talk about this. I was a part of the problem. I am here now standing as a man that wants to be a part of the solution.
Come on.
I brought my community down. I hurt people. I was the uneducated man in the kitchen playing chemist with drugs I knew absolutely nothing about. Wow. Just like these drug dealers are doing right now when they're mixing every drug on the market with fentanyl. And they're killing the people we love.
Wow.
I'll be honest with y'all. My desire is to only get older and only do better and be better. I believed when I sold drugs genuinely that selling drugs was a victimless crime. I truly believe that, y'all.
Wow.
My father always told me what doesn't get you in the wash will get you in the rinse. Now I have a 15-year-old daughter whose mother is a drug addict. Every day I get to look in the eyes of a victim in my household of the effects of drugs. Every single day. And every single day I have to wonder if me and my wife, if today will be the day that I have to tell my daughter that her mother became a part of the national statistic. History repeats itself, gentlemen. Even in the 1990s, crack cocaine had long made its way into my middle lower class neighborhood. And at that moment, even as a teenager, you could have never convinced me in that moment that there would be a far bigger problem on the horizon in the form of a pharmaceutical drug. And then I watched opioids and Oxycontin burst onto the scene. I'm here to tell y'all that fentanyl is going to make the Sackler family look like saints.
So speaking of the Sacklers, they're the family behind Oxycontin. It's a prescription painkiller. Most people know what it is. It's more powerful than morphine. And it was started out as if people had terminal cancer, then they would take Oxycontin to help with pain. Then they started prescribing it for headaches.
Anything, because you're making billions of dollars.
Yeah, so if you can get one doctor to write a prescription for it, then that doctor might have a network of other doctors, and then the more prescriptions you write, the more money you make. So it turned into a multi-billion-dollar business, which Purdue Pharma was sued for, believe it was $3 billion, and they had to pay a fine.
Wow.
And so the Sackler family, he's saying the opioid epidemic with specifically fentanyl is going to make them look like saints. So you know how many? Let me look this up. Okay, so pause this.
Man, this is hitting me hard, dude, because he's talking about his daughter's mom, who is his wife, still struggles with this. So he was part of the problem for a while, he said, but now he's trying to be part of the solution. And bringing awareness to this, man, because everybody hears about it, but it's like a taboo subject to even talk about. And this just breaks my heart because I've seen people go through this, but it's still not being addressed the way it should now.
The number of drug overdose deaths increased more than 16% from 2020 to 2021. Over 75% of the nearly 107,000 drug overdose deaths in 2021 involved an opioid. But he's not wrong. What he's saying, Jelly Roll is saying, is that even his own wife struggled with drug addiction to where still does, where he has to come home and he has to be slapped in the face with that reality. And so he's trying to get people to bring awareness to why is America so consumed with big pharma? And I mean, Travis Kelce just did an ad for $20 million for Pfizer recently.
Yeah.
And
it's a money pit.
We're one of the only two countries in the world that allow that type of advertisement during football games or just even in general. And it's just a cash cow and it's a business. It's not actually helping people, unfortunately.
Let's keep watching this because this story is tearing me apart, man.
And I want to let y'all sit with that for a second. It is time for us to be proactive and not reactive. We were reactive with crack. We were reactive with opioids. And y'all are taking the first step at somebody in Senate finally being proactive. I truly believe in my heart that this bill will stop the supply and can help stop the supply of fentanyl. But in part of being proactive, gentlemen and women and ladies, I have to be frank and tell y'all that if we don't talk to the other side of Capitol Hill and stop the demand, we are going to spin our tires in the mud. Y'all are taking the first step, but I encourage you to take it outside of this room and you take it to your colleagues and your constituents and you give them the most that you can. I know I've got a few seconds here, and Senator Brown said I may or may not go over. All I want to say is that I not only encourage y'all to do this, I encourage y'all to take it a step further. At every concert I perform, I witness the heartbreaking impact of fentanyl. I see fans grappling with this tragedy in the form of music that they seek solace in music and hope that their experiences won't befall others. They crave reassurance. These are the people I'm here to speak for, y'all. These people crave reassurance that their elected officials actually care more about human life than they do about ideology and partisanship. I stand here as a regular member of society. I am a stupid songwriter, y'all, but I have firsthand witnessed this in a way most people have not. I encourage y'all to not only pass this bill, but I encourage you to bring it up where it matters, at the kitchen table. Thank you for your time.
It's time for us to start caring about lives more than partisanship. That my biggest problem with anything is it's us versus them, left and right, right? You're here or you're here, and if you have something different, then we can't accept you because now that's who you are. Your identity is in your political belief.
Yeah.
But the problem is people have forgot that saving lives is actually the most important thing. Saving lives, and so him sharing his story. What's the bill that they're trying to pass, by the way?
Yeah, let me see.
Jetch, look that up real quick because I want to know exactly what is the bill that they're trying to pass, because the reason we're reacting to this is to bring awareness to this. Our goal is to shine the light on things that people need to see. So this video, dude, it hits my home because I have, a lot of people close to me, friends that have struggled with drugs that still do, and it hurts me to see them going down this hole. But the problem is that there's this legal drug as long as you can say you qualify for it.
The musician, whose real name is Jason DeFord, testified before the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, chaired by Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown of Ohio, urged Congress to pass Brown's Fentanyl Eradication Narcotics Deterrence, FEND, off Fentanyl Act, which would wield financial sanctions against drug traffickers to disrupt the flow of opioids coming in from China and Mexico. Yeah, that was recently. So this was posted January 12th, 2024. So this must just have happened.
So we're still in the process.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been passed yet. But guys, if you know anything about this bill that you want to put in the comments to help to educate our audience on this, because of what's going on around the country right now and the instability that we have, a lot of opioids and narcotics are coming from China and from other countries, right?
Yep.
And so it's being trafficked into the country, and he's trying to make it more of an illegal type of act to do that. So it goes directly to the drug traffickers that are trying to bring it in.
Yep.
So I think it's good because in order to get any of this eradicated, or at least making a step in the right direction, you have to pass legislation in order to make that into law that de-incentivizes those drug traffickers from bringing it in. So I love what he's doing, and obviously it hits home with us too because of our story of some of our friends, like you said, that have been struggling with this. It is an epidemic. It really is. And fentanyl, you can put fentanyl on any kind of drug and lace it and overdose.
That's what terrifies me, dude.
Because you just don't know.
Yeah, because someone can be smoking weed and then you have fentanyl. You just don't know. And so stay away from that, people, to be honest. And if you're struggling with something, reach out to somebody. If you're struggling, email us and we'll pray for you. Reach out to people. Don't suffer in silence like he's talking about, because a lot of people suffer in silence until finally it's too late. Yeah. So we love you guys. We'll see you on the next video, but our goal is not to be the experts. Our goal is to bring things to light that people need to talk about. So see you on the next video.
Peace.